Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches. This is my Flosstube update number 273. It is the 11th of March. Beware the Ides of March. From Julius Caesar, I think? Yeah. It's not quite the Ides of March yet. The 15th is the Ides. And as a matter of fact, I'll be having a little precancerous mole removed from my ear on the 15th, on Saturday. Excuse me just a minute. Sorry, my screen is, I just have a thing. You can't see the little, speck on the tablet, but I can see it and it bothers me. So I had to wipe it away. Anyway, today is the 11th, Saturday the 11th of March. And, yeah, so here we go. This is the channel about cross stitch, if you didn't know that already. For any newcomers that might be stumbling across this. I don't have a whole ton of subscribers like some channels do, but I'm very thankful for the people who watch regularly. And so anyway, we'll talk about cross stitch. My hair is kind of fuzzy. I just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it. For those of you who might remember those commercials. I don't even know what's going on here. Random hair things. Anyway, so we're going to talk about cross stitch. And I've been working on, on my WIPGO stuff. I haven't done any more on the fox that I was working so diligently on last month. I've been doing other things. I still want to get back to it because I'd like to finish it. At the very least, finish the one side so I can, start the second in that series. But I don't know when I'm going to squeeze that in or how I'm going to get to it. I have a little more time this month, I think. It's funny, those like 2 or 3 days in February that February doesn't have seem to make all the difference. I don't know. But March seems like it lasts forever compared to February. But so I have met a WIPGO goal of the 6 days on one of my projects. I haven't even started my second WIPGO call, but I should start it probably today or tomorrow at the latest, and get my 6 days in. I have short goals, because of the other things I'm doing, the new starts and FFOs. I haven't done my FFOs yet, but I have done my 2 new starts. So it's all kind of fun. So first of all, my number, I think it's number 22. Yeah, my number 22 call, WIPGO call, was this chart that I did. Not everything counts. That's what I'm calling it, and it's the one I'm doing for my brother-in-law with the invisible sheep. You can't see them because they're white on white, and I didn't print the symbols on this. It was just color blocks, and of course I have a white background. I just chose white, so you can't see the sheep, but they're there. But I did add some extra sheep in this blank space here, and one over here that I had to move, and a couple in this area here. I think at least one, maybe 2, maybe 1 more, I think. But anyway, so just to give it some, a couple more, just that there wouldn't be those blank spaces. Around this peacock, there's a lot of blank area, but, it's the way it is. But I did finish this peacock. So here's what I've done so far. Oops, it's extra fabric here. So I've done some more on the border here, on the blue border that's on the inside, because what I have not yet done is the quote, the man's name who did this quote, W.B. Cameron, goes in this corner here, but I want to finish the inside border first, because that way I can count off of the border where his name goes. And I did have one extra sheep, that I added to the chart here that I miscounted, I think, maybe. But it was too close because the sheep's tail was going to be on top of the border, and I didn't want that. So I took it out. So I want to, like I said, finish this inside border, and then I'll put that other sheep in. And I just did their bodies and not their heads and feet and tails and ears yet. I'm going to do them all at once. Oh, I guess I did not put one here. I think I wasn't sure if the legs would fit or whatever, so I didn't do one there. But I did finish the peacock. And I finished all the words. Not everything, if I wrote this right, yeah. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. So, like I said, I did do like an extra day and a half on this. The goal was 6 days, and I did at least 7 days, maybe 7.5, depending on how you count, I guess. But I'm so close to finishing it. The border kind of takes a long time. It's just a lot of stitching. It's just, a long stitches. And so I want to finish, just extend these to finish them. It's simple, it's just time consuming because it's a lot of stitches. And then, all of the finishing all the little sheep there. So, but I'm really pretty close to finishing. So I'd like to finish it this month if possible. So we shall see. And then my second WIPGO whip is the Gray Wolf, which I haven't started yet. But then, and I have not started the FFOs yet. But I think I will probably do them in the next few days. My older sister is a little out of pocket, and I'm a little out of pocket. I'm kind of keeping an eye on keeping the dog company, my sister's dog. My sister's going to be going back for. She's helping take care of the father of a lady that is in my Bible study group. She's going out of town for I think for spring break for her daughter's sake, taking her daughter out of town. But her father is elderly and lives with her family, and has some health issues, and she didn't want to leave him alone. And so she was, trying to see if there was somebody who could take care of him, and we were able to connect. Eve wasn't at Bible study last week because she had an appointment, so I sort of hooked them up. Said, I told our group leader, maybe they can get together and talk about it and see if, because Eve has a little bit of experience that with, she worked with developmentally disabled adults, and this lady's father is, he's just like in the beginnings of, he has dementia, the beginnings of Alzheimer's, whatever. So but he's basically, still self-sufficient. He can go to the bathroom and brush his teeth and all things like that. So he just needs to, someone to fix his meals for him and that sort of thing. Just some general care. So I thought, well, he's, got a good background of that. She helped my dad too a lot when, with his doctor's appointments and blah blah blah. So she has pretty good grasp of what needs to be done and all that. So she's going to be spending a lot of time taking care of this gentleman, And but kind of going back and forth, whatever. So but we don't want the dog just languishing by herself while so I'm going to be out here working on things, and I figured that'd be a good time to work on my FFO stuff, because that way I'll be out here in the house with the dog and working on things, as opposed to like usually I'm in in my room doing my stitching with my cats and watching my television and that sort of thing. But like I said, I didn't want the dog to be out here all by herself all that time, so I'm going to be here with her, and that would be a good time for me to be FFOing my stuff, whatever. Anyway, so I haven't gotten started on that yet, but I will, like, in the next few days, probably. But my other part of my WIPGO thing is doing a new start for each block. And sorry, I almost dropped it. So I had talked about how the wanting to do the Silver Creek samplers, two of them for my new starts. I think I had talked about it last week. One is Give Greatly, and the other is Lost and Found. And these are both designs by Diane Grick of Silver Creek Samplers. So the one I've done the most work on is Lost and Found. And that's it's a little sheep. And the little, the writing is, I am a lost sheep gone astray. Shepherd, find me, this I pray. O shepherd, listen to my prayer and keep me in thy loving care. So this is the one that was appropriately lost and then found. I thought I had lost it somewhere by my computer, like behind my computer desk or somewhere like that. And it was actually in my notebook of unstitched things. I had it out, and I had it at the computer where I was listing all my several of my pieces, and their stitch counts and things like that, and seeing if I had fabric to go with it, blah blah blah. And that was the last time I remembered looking at it, but I had actually put it away in my notebook. But so I didn't think to look there. I looked everywhere else I could think of. But anyway, it was in there all the time. So this and the Give Greatly pattern, I love them so much. Of course, everything I have, I love, because I only have it because I love it. But since this, I was looking for something else, and this one was on my mind. And so I thought, that's a good start, because none of my new starts are designated yet. I'm just, that's my sort of a whim for the year. So I'll have 24 new starts by the end of the year. As if I didn't have enough going on. But anyway, so I did a little bit of this, and I was a little nervous because the fabric that I had, I had gone on cross stitch calculator, and just at first glance I thought, okay, this is like 32 count, whatever, and so I had put it in the calculator, and it was a little bit for one of these. I think this one, I don't know, one of them is larger than the other. One of them is like larger this way. One is only 96 stitches, and the other is 100 and something, 121 or something like that. So the larger one, I wasn't sure it was going to fit. In my 32 count thing, it was like, it's kind of, but the more I looked at this fabric, it's not 32 count. I think it's 46 count. It's a linen, and I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. But it's very tiny, very, very tiny. These are the tiny stitches, and this is 1/2. Yeah, so it's very tiny. It's like, and as a matter of fact, this is this on the sheep, the lighter color on the sheep, and I thought it would look okay because this is green, kind of greenish, like a light green color, and this is like a taupe, I guess, and actually once I finish the X, you can see it pretty clearly, but the half stitch, the one leg of the X, it's really, really hard to see. I have to work on it, under a bright little spotlight in room. There's four stitches right here, but I have to make sure that I'm getting in the right hole, and it's really hard. And there's probably it's probably some stitches that are not quite square. And I thought, well, sometimes when I'm having trouble doing that sort of thing, I can stitch. I can look on the back and stitch on the back and straighten them out. But they're so tiny. It's hard for, and the floss is so pale that I can't really, when I'm doing the hat, I can't really see it well enough. I have to work. It's easier to work on this side. And I just have to go slow. Really, it's I'm having to stitch really slowly so that I can make sure that I get it in the right hole. Good. And I'm using these needles. This is a tiny little, I don't know if you can even see it, tiny little needle. You can see it's got if I can move my finger, it's got a red end here. And these were, I showed these a few weeks ago. That I got at Hobby Lobby, and it's a little round dispenser thing, and there's 2, 3, 4 needles of each size in this little dispenser, and there's like 26, 28, 24, like that, 22, I guess, something different sizes in this little dispenser, and it has like smaller sizes and going up to 28 count. So there's like a few of each size and so you just turn this little dispenser thing. You just turn the little dial, and it has a little opening, and you put the opening over the size you want, and you can shake the needles out. So it's very nice, and the needles have a different color coded end. So there's some that are red, some that are blue, etc. But the painted coating on the end helps the needle be a little smoother on the thing, and then helps you also identify the size. And because all my needles, I talked about this before, that the needles that I have are of various different sizes, but I couldn't tell you, like, this is the 24 and this is the 26, for instance, because they're very close together. I can kind of tell the 28s because they're thicker. And a lot of those I've gotten either I bought them on purpose, or most of them I have from random kits, because usually with kits, they usually give you a size 28 needle or whatever, because the kits have 8 o'clock, and the 28 size needle works just fine. So on 14 count 8 or whatever. So I have a whole bunch of I have a ton of needles, different sizes, but just by eyeballing them, I can't tell which size is which, and I don't say, oh, I'm always going to buy this size. But so this little Singer dispenser thing is great. Anyway, so that's why I'm using this tiny little needle on this tiny little fabric. But so this is just, the inside part of this sheep swirl. I did a center start. I was going to start, I thought about doing a corner start or whatever, but then I thought, because I wasn't sure, of the fabric thing, I just started in the center. And looking at it now, with how tiny it is, it's probably going to be fine. But this darker color, once I get to the end of this thread, and it's because I'm not doing a loop start like I usually do. It's kind of long. I really should have cut it in half and made it smaller to work with, because it was really long at the beginning. As a matter of fact, one of the things, and I meant I meant to do it, and I haven't done it, is like use a waxer to coat the thread to make it a little smoother, because the smallness, the tightness of the fabric tends to make the thread fray a little bit, and at one point it did just like fray and break. And part of the problem was that I unstitched a couple of lines. I had done one line and started on the second line of like this, a kind of a long line, because I was doing a center start, and I was looking at the pattern. Here's the center this way, and here's the center this way, and then I actually, I said there was just a little arrow. It wasn't like a line, connecting. There was a little arrow, and so I just tracked down, with my eyes, and I was in the wrong square. Here it was here, and I was down in this square here. And I thought, oh yeah, that's really great. And I stitched it, and I like, wait, this is not right. and I thought about just leaving it, because it was really off, like it would have put these lines like up here, maybe here, but because it's a tight fit, so I went ahead and pulled it all out and did it again. So the pulling it out and redoing it, I was using that same piece of thread, and it kind of, got a little fuzzy, fraying. So it like I said, it tore at one point. But since then, it hasn't had a problem, too much of a problem. So if I, I'm going to get to the end of this thread perhaps, and then do a part of the other color that's in this sheep, some of this darker color, and that'll help make it a little bit easier to see. But anyway, so that's my start on Lost and Found on the sheep. So and then my other new start is another Silver Creek sample. This is Give Greatly. And I just love this little snowman. And this rabbit, giving him a carrot for his nose. See his little sled with carrots? So he gave him a carrot for his nose. So it says, your greatness is not in what you have, but what you give. So, and this one, I also was thinking, well, I could do a corner start. This has buttons on these two snowflakes, but they're actually charted. So, you can either stitch them or find an appropriate button or whatever. And so I decided to do a center start. And center is like right around here in this rabbit's ears. So I did a little bit of a start, and yeah, so here's the center, so I am going up. So yeah, that's the end of the end of the upper ear of the rabbit. Yeah, so, and this is also 1/2. This is the same fabric, only I just have dyed it a different color. I think I dyed these myself. I'm pretty sure. One's blue and one's green. So, and this one, I used the blue one on this, even though it probably, I could have used it on this to make it show up a little better. But there's like one patch of blue in this design, and the rest of it is very pastoral, and I do worry that this green here might be too close to the green of the fabric, but I like the overall, pastoral kind of earthy, by using the green on this design. And this one, being with the snow and the cold and all that sort of wintry look, using a blue for this. But anyway, so that's my tiny little new start on this one. And I'm hoping to do more of it. And actually, this color, this is a DMC number 7, is the color that goes with this. This is DMC number 6. And so it's, the number 7 is this darker color in here. So, yeah. And it's kind of nice, I just did a little bit of a start. I haven't spent quite as much time on this one as I have on the other one, but yeah. So that really is all I have stitched this week. Like I said, I want to do a little bit more on those new starts, and I did spend a little more time on number 22. But so, like I said, I'm gonna FFO my other 2 pieces this week so I can keep the dog company, and get to the gray wolf. I'm a little bit not anxious to get going on that gray wolf because it's so difficult, because it's very pixelated and it's full coverage in that little area of the of the design. It's full coverage and it's very pixelated and it's all shades of the same color, grays and blacks and browns. So yeah, I'm a color completist, but it's a little hard to do. And when I started on the design, I did not make a working copy, so so I didn't mark off like, I've done all these X's and I've done all these C's and and it's one of these 2 color designs. So you have some black and some red, and in some cases you'll have like a black vertical line and a red vertical line and some other things. So this is one color and this is another color. They look the same, but one is black and one is red. So you have to it's like, and so it's a little hard to look at that way. And it's very tiny and it's handwritten. It's not a printed symbol. It's a handwritten symbol, and so it's got all those strikes against it. And so it makes me like, oh, I don't want to work on it, because it's hard. But once I get going, I think it'll be fine. It's just like looming over there in the corner going, and yeah, so I have to, put my big girl panties on and work on it. And I do have to make a working copy of those Silver Creek samplers designs. I was just working off, I kind of started them on a whim the other day. And so, and because they're all DMC colors, it was easy to kit them up right away, except that I did have a few that colors that I assume are in some other project somewhere, because I couldn't find them in my stash. And I didn't want to go pawing through my various projects, because I couldn't tell you where they are if I have them. So I went and bought a few colors of DMC at Hobby Lobby. I think I told the story last week that there was a couple that I couldn't find. And so I went, I don't remember why I was trying to figure out if the ones I was missing, which chart they were, of the 2 Silver Creek sampler charts. If they were both from the same chart, if one was from one and one from the other, whatever. And if they were, like if I needed them to start the pattern, or if I could put it off, whatever. And it turns out one of the colors, I want to say, let's look at it right here real quick. 382. I couldn't find, right? And when I looked at the chart, it says 382, but there was no such number in the little bins of thread. And so I don't remember where I was looking. Oh, was it? Oh, it was in my Pattern Keeper. Pattern Keeper, is that the name of it? Anyway, you can list all your projects, and you can list all your projects and put them in, and so I was going through and putting making sure those were listed in my projects in Pattern Keeper, and so it has when you put it in there, you can put in the threads that are called for that particular design, and so I was putting them in, and it has a thing where you can choose what thread group, like DMC or Week Star Works or whatever, Color and Cotton, or Color and Cotton, is that right? But anyway, it has all the different threads brands, and so I was using the DMC thing, and when I put, it has a search feature, so you can put like 3.8 for all the 3.8 whatever, 3.82, 3.83, whatever, and so I put 3.8 in there, and 3.82 doesn't exist. It's 3.821. 3.821 is the color that is listed, and I think so on this I don't have it on the pattern. It could be a typo. I figured it was. Let me see if I have it right here. The color list for this particular pattern. Let me see if it's right here. Okay. Yeah, so it says 382, and the color listing is straw. But in the Pattern Keeper thing, it says 3821 straw. So I think this listing on the pattern is just incorrect. Is the typo, I think. So yeah, so I do have that. I'm pretty sure I have that 3821 somewhere. So I'm going to look again in my stash and see if I have it. And then the other one I had listed on here is 3052 that I couldn't find when I went shopping, and I saw it just the other day in the bag. So I must have found it after I got back. I must have looked again and found it somewhere. So looks like I have all of the threads for those projects. Mystery solved. But anyway, I think that's about it. Oh, I was reviewing. I was looking at Facebook or Instagram or something like that this morning, and Debbie Crowfoot had posted her progress on Monster Wonder Whale, and she tagged me and said, I'll race you to the end. But she's, I think, a lot further along than I am. She hasn't quite finished the whale's tail, the outside structure of the whale, but she has done all the little tree, or most of the little trees on the top of the whale, and she's done like the little church and you know, a lot of the stuff on top. She's put the red berries in the little green tree there and stuff like that. Just other things that I have not quite done yet. So she's, in some ways, she's further ahead. It looks like she's further ahead than I am, I think. And so she's probably going to, if she keeps working on it, she's probably going to finish it a lot sooner than I am, because I've kind of set it aside a little bit right now. But I'm very close to the end too. So if I had time to work on it, you know, a little bit, maybe I will race her to the end. I kind of have a feeling that she'll beat me to the end, but that was kind of funny. Like I said, you know, I was looking at her. She has all the water done and the fish, and the bottom 3 ships done, but she doesn't have the other ship on the end done. So she's a little further along. It looks like she's finished, you know, everything up to here, up to the church, whatever. And then like it was all the stuff, you know, that, like I said, the end of the whale's tail and the last ship there, and you know, things like that. But yeah, so I think she's further along than I am, because the whale part goes pretty quickly. So yeah, you know, I was like, ooh, she's working on that also. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, she'll probably finish before I get there. Anyway, so like I said, I'm hoping that this week I can work on those FFOs. I have to find decide how I'm going to mount Eeyore and the bees. I kind of think I know, but I have to just double check sizes. Some of the I have some like little easel things, and I think that I might mount it on if it's the right size. We'll see. And then excuse me. And the other one is the Four Fat Friends thing. I think I'm gonna make it into a pillow. Do a little pillow finish. It's only about this big. But I, you know, like I said, I might have something else that I can mount it on. So I don't know. But we'll see. So I'll have time to work on that as well. So I think that's everything. Yeah. So hopefully by next week I will have a good start toward my goal on the gray wolf, and maybe I'll even finish the Not Everything Counts. Let's see how much flurry of activity I have in the next coming days, while I keep the little dog company. Okay, so I think that's everything for this week. Another nice short video. And like I said, you know, market being over now, everybody's, you know, coming back from market and getting all their orders out. And so I placed my order with Keepsakes, and Stephanie was talking about how, you know, if you haven't received your order yet, haven't been billed yet, it's because they're still waiting on some things that were, I guess, that were sold out, you know, when they were going around to pick up the pre-orders, and they're waiting for everything to be in, you know, so they can mail it all out at once. And so I'm waiting with bated breath for my order to to come in, and plus, you know, they've got a lot of orders to fill, so I'm not, you know, sweating it out. You know, I'm just like anxious to get my little hands on my orders that I ordered. Yeah, so and it's gonna be kind of a lot of money, but you know, whatever. Um, there's still part of me that wants to organize, you know, what I have in a slightly different way or something. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to a concert tonight. Uh, my younger sister, you know, had talked about this particular concert when we had rehearsal last night. That they were, you know, trying to the symphony was trying to drum up some more people to attend this particular concert. But so she was talking about what they were playing, and I was like, I want to hear that. I want to go to that. So she and I made plans to go tonight to go and hear that. But this morning she texted that she you know, the wall in her kitchen, this one wall on the other side of, you know, here's her dishwasher and the wall, and on the other side of the wall is like the faces the hallway, you know, and it looked, you know, funny, like it was like, you know, the paint on the side of the wall was melting or something. And so come to find out they had a leak in the kitchen. And so she was able to, you know, the insurance, and they were able to, you know, get there was some mold, I guess, and they got the remediation people out there and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so it's being taken care of. It's just that, you know, it's just a hassle, you know, because she, you know, doesn't have a kitchen sink, and, you know, this and that and the other. But anyway, so I was like, you know, we're still going to the concert, I think, but, you know, it's just like a big hassle. She's, you know, sent some pictures that it's just her kitchen's all torn apart. Fortunately, some people were able to work on it. They were able to get workers in today and, you know, get it going pretty quickly, so they're not as out of pocket for as long as, you know, they would have been if they had to wait, you know, over the weekend or something like that, you know, for somebody to get started on it. We were talking about how several years ago, you know, they used to live in the townhouse that Rachel lives in. You know, Naomi's sister-in-law, Rachel, lives in this little in the townhouse where Mark and Naomi lived when the kids were little. I think Hannah was like a year old or something. She was crawling at the time that they moved from their apartment to the Redfield Road, we call it, the little townhouse. Um, and now Rachel lives there now that Mark and Naomi have a house. But when they lived in the townhouse, they hadn't been there very long, a few years. Hannah was still very young. That they found that there was mold. There, same thing. The dishwasher, I think, had been leaking for a while. They just didn't know it, and you know, so they had the whole kitchen and everything was torn up, and so yeah, they had to, you know, wash dishes in the bathtub. I think something like that. It was a big mess, but you know, and it took a long time. Excuse me, just 1 second. I had a sneasel in my weasel. Sorry. But anyway, so fortunately, you know, it seems like the leak was just, you know, they discovered it right away, you know, so they didn't have a, you know, a big horrible problem like they did before. But it's like it's one of those things that, you know, it's just a pain. You know, you find, you know, you have to get a plumber out. You have to get, you know, mold remediation. You have to, you know, all that stuff. So it's yeah, it's a difficult problem to have. I think when we moved here into this house, we had some issues with in the hall bathroom, the main bathroom, and had to have it, all kind of taken apart and everything. So yeah, it's it's one of those things you have to deal with. Anyway, so enough of that. So like I said, that's one reason why. Yeah, I filmed a little bit earlier today. Um, and actually, it's a good thing that my sisters and I did uh, our sticks and strings video. We did it Thursday night because Eve was going over today, Saturday, to take care of this help, starting to take care of this man. So she, couldn't film today, Saturday, and then Naomi had to work the concert on Friday, and so she couldn't film on Friday. So we bumped it back and filmed it on Thursday. So that was a good thing because then, she had time on Saturday to deal with all the stuff that she didn't, like come over here to video to make the video and then find it, at home, or find it in the morning when we hadn't done the video yet or something like that. But fortunately, we did the video on Thursday, before she encountered this crisis today. But anyway, so yeah, so she's gonna have to deal with that. Okay, so enough dithering around. So I will see you next week, and hopefully I'll have more to show you, and we'll take it from there. Until then, thanks for watching. Happy stitching, and I will see you next week. Bye.